Workshop 2017 with one of our keynote speakers, Commissioner Kimberley Harrington. Welcome, Kimberley.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks so much for having me back this year.
Oh, it's always our pleasure to have you here. Just to let our audience know, last year was you just become commissioner. I want to talk about what you've seen in this year, because I know you've gone around to a lot of districts. In fact, you and I were at a district together in Beverly City. What are some of the positives that you're taking out of what some of the school districts are doing?
Yeah, I think school districts are really using what they have so differently to answer that question for kids of when will I ever use this again, and really bringing the content to life by putting it into context, all the way up from elementary schools to middle and high school. So, some of the great things that I've seen are hands-on opportunities for children to be either working at an internship outside of the school or alongside someone from business and industry in school where they see the content in action. I've seen, a real focus in a lot of our districts on bringing mindfulness practices to their students so that they have a better skill set for handling the stresses that come their way, and those will carry them through not just their schooling, but certainly life and their career as well. And then I've seen, some really innovative early childhood practices where folks are really looking at the ways to combine the social emotional learning of our children and the academic learning so that that's all happening together and they're developing those positive habits of mind.
And it's funny, you're talking about some of those. I saw them independently of you, and I had the same. I never would have thought 20 years ago mindfulness or yoga would be in any of our schools. Yeah. And not only in the schools, but effectively used in our school for improving our students' achievement.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it does have a big change to their achievement levels, because one of the students that I talked to about it, I asked, how is this really helping you? And they said that even when they have to take a test and that they get stressed out, that they have different tools. And I said, like what? And she said, well, like sometimes I'll journal, and I call it bullet journaling. And she said, I just jot down like all the things that are in my head, and then it's out of my head and I can focus. Or she said, I take right before a test or in the middle of a test, if I start to get really stressed out, she said, I take like a minute and I do some breathing, and then I go back to my test, and she said, and I'm clear, my mind is clear, and I can pick up and do a better job. So it really is making a difference for our kids.
As you went around, well, first of all, I want to talk a little bit. You addressed the memberships here, and it was we started the conversation talking about kids and students and really making them the focus. And I think that's your message, and that sometimes as adults we do get distracted with other adults and other issues. So that your message, and it's been pretty consistent, is focus on the kids. Yeah,
my message, last year at school boards, I asked that we stop doing so much talking as adults about education, and that we remember that the very people we serve are our students, and that their voices must be heard in every conversation, whether it's literally bringing them into the conversation or figuratively by making sure that every conversation references the students. This will better the students because this will help students academically, making sure that they're part of the conversation. And we have, I think, done an incredible job collectively as stakeholders to change that conversation. But I think what's next for us is to really think about how do we make sure now that we're not just hearing our students, but that each and every child is seen, so that we make sure that we're getting them the skill sets they need for success.
I mentioned the town before, Beverly City. One of the things I was struck there was the importance of leadership, collaboration, and data. And it wasn't high-tech, difficult things for student achievement. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Beverly City was just such a find because when we were looking at data, and of course data tells a story about our children, we said, whoa, look at these results. These are incredible. We need to go talk to this district. And then in hearing about all the things they're doing, they too recognize the importance of the story that's being told in their data. And so really have put into place a way for teachers, not just once a year when a state assessment is given, but every day in their classrooms to be able to be taking the temperature of their students to see how they need to be adjusting instruction, even in the moment, for any particular group of children is really remarkable. And then just her incredible, the superintendent superintendent's incredible leadership to make sure that there is that open communication, but it's really a collaborative process, and they're all working together around the same goals. It's not her telling the staff, here's what you have to do, and then she's off doing something else, but together they're doing that work and really making a tremendous difference. The growth of their students is incredible.
And I know you're trying to get us to focus on the students, and I think that's a message that sometimes it's easily forgotten when you get distracted. But the other thing that you went in a totally different direction, not totally, but about the students, was future ready, being a big push to make sure our technology is our students are a little different than when I was in school. They learn differently, they have different habits, and future ready is really trying to prepare all our districts for that. So you explain it a little bit?
Yeah, well, so the Future Ready Schools New Jersey has been such an incredible journey to be on, because again, when we listen to our student voices, they're saying, you're teaching us in a way that is so behind where we need to be and want to be. And I think it's, as adults, many of us are immigrants to the digital world, whereas our students are natives to it. They don't remember a time when technology didn't exist in the level that it does today. And so I really applaud our Future Ready schools. As Dr. Feinsod said, we thought maybe we'd only have about 20 schools get certified, and we had over 60 this year, which was incredible, representing 20 different districts. But the work that those adults did together, those educators, the board members, the parents, to dig in and look at what are we doing well to serve our students and get them ready for a world that's full of technology and innovation, and where could we be doing a better job? And that's a courageous conversation to have, and to take that look and to really want to make improvements. So I just think it was an amazing celebration, and listening to panelists from the Future Ready schools who are certified today talk about what their experience was like and what a difference it made, not just for them, but for their children, is remarkable.
And on a positive note, you've gone around and seen a lot of things, a lot of positive. Maybe more of us in education should be sharing that, because I know you're seeing these great things, but it shouldn't be in a vacuum. Maybe more educators should get out to see what other educators are doing, because the answers are maybe right in front of our eyes.
Absolutely. I think for me, it has been such a tremendous opportunity to get to go out into districts and to see what others are doing. But I really think, for my own staff, I have opened up my school visits and said, anybody who'd like to come with me, come see what's happening in schools, even if you have never worked in a school. It's really important, because all of our work touches schools. And I think, in some of our schools, I'm seeing where they're having rounds like you'd see in a medical practice, where, they're going from classroom to classroom to see how their colleagues teach, and not in a critical way, but to learn from their practices. And so, as we start a new initiative at the department, I'm really looking to find ways that we help districts to be able to go and see and meet with other districts, see maybe practices that they're doing that they could incorporate into their own district, or even just to have a fresh set of eyes, because when all we see is our own work, just like writing a paper, it's hard to see the mistakes, or it's hard to see the places that we could improve because we're so familiar with it. So even just getting out and seeing how someone else is doing it might allow you to see your own school or district in a different light. So I think it's really important that we get out and about.
Can't agree more, because it also says it's not impossible because someone else is already doing it.
That's right. That's right.
So I want to thank you, because you've inspired a lot of people in the field of education as commissioner, and you've done a great job. So
thank you, Ray. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me today.
Commissioner Kimberley Harrington for New Jersey.